Hi and welcome to Score Game and to another episode of Tyranny. Before we continue, I want to thank you guys for supporting the channel by watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. If you want to support the channel even more, a like and a comment is always welcome. Let's see what happens next. Year 2 of Kyros' Conquest. Apex. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the Disfavored and Scarlet Kyros had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kyros' law to the territory as well as keeping an eye on both armies. And we have two choices again. Denial of Strength, a new school of mages presented problems and opportunities. And the Battle of Edgering Pass. The Archon of Stone's assault was perhaps too successful. Let's read this one first. A school of water mages, loyal to the Tiersmen, posed a substantial threat. The Disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Kyros insisted on capturing the mages, wishing to learn of their craft. And the Battle of Edgering Pass. The Disfavored sent their most destructive ally to crush Edgering Fort. Cairn, Archon of Stone, but there are more than 3 Archons apparently. Buried in the stronghold under an avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Kyros were promised captured enemies for recruitment, yet none survived the onslaught. The Kyros demanded compensation. As tall as the hills, Cairn is the Archon of Stone, master of earth and soil, destroyer of mountains and cities. Okay, calm down, bro. Cairn is the reluctant leader of the Earthshaker Guild, though he is less their teacher and more their object of study. The massive Archon is sworn to Graven Ashe and provides arcane support to the Disfavored war effort. Okay, and what can we do here? You congratulated the Disfavored for taking the pass without risking the lives of Kyros' loyal servants. At this stage of the campaign, it was vital to use any advantage that would mitigate any losses. You upheld the Scarlet Kyros' claim and demanded that the youngest Disfavored scouts join the Kyros to settle this debt. You sided with the Disfavored. All mages had a chance to surrender before the war, and trying to capture the enemy would lead to needless losses. You sided with the Scarlet Kyros, ordering the Mage elders taken alive for interrogation. I really don't know. I don't like any of these options. It's really hard for me to play as an evil conqueror. I'm always playing as a good guy in games. I mean, this happened. I can't change anything. I can only just side with the Disfavored or with the Scarlet Kyros. That's pretty much it. And here I can actually do something. I can actually spare the mages. Well, not really spare the mages, but capture them and interrogate them. Or I can just kill them. And I think if we're gonna play as the rebels, as I expect, we're gonna be able to fight the mages later if we spare them, or maybe even rescue them and have them join our army or something. I think I'm gonna go with this, and we're just gonna capture the mages. Though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Kyros praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders of the school to the voices of Nerat's tent. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Kyros soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The Disfavored adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming the Kyros lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy school. Poisoning the well or a captive captain. Hoping to break the siege, Scarlet Chorus agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed Disfavored scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the Disfavored demanded that the Chorus agents be turned over to them for punishment. So this is pretty much about the fight between the Scarlet Chorus and the Disfavored from what I'm seeing here. I mean, they're disagreeing a lot. And I have to side with one of them. So maybe we're not even gonna join the rebels, we're gonna have to join the Disfavored or the Scarlet Chorus, and they're gonna fight with each other or something. You upheld the charges ordering the Scarlet Chorus agents delivered to the Disfavored. Justice will be served, but at the risk of seeding discontent between the two armies. You denied the complaint. Tragedies happen in war, and the act was not targeted with intent at the Disfavored. Well, it kind of was, because they did it in secret. They could have told the Disfavored as well. Hey guys, the water is poisoned, don't drink it. The reality was more honest than the satisfaction the Disfavored so wanted. When Kyros' forces captured the celebrated enemy hero, the armies bickered over his fate. The Disfavored wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kyros' mercy. The Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. You agree with the Disfavored. Plan and send the enemy captain back with a message. All those who surrendered or cooperated will be treated with deserving respect as subjects of Kyros' peace. You executed the captain and had his remains fashioned into a terrifying display. Fear was the Scarlet Chorus' most compelling weapon, and you knew that its impact will resonate across the Apex army. I mean, we're kind of invading, so I really don't know, but I don't think I'm gonna go with this one. It's pretty irrelevant. Again, I'm just siding with the Disfavored or the Scarlet Chorus, but here we can actually do something about other characters, and we're gonna spare him. You agree with the Disfavored plan and send the enemy captain back with a message. Yes. Shocked by your clemency, the enemy captain vowed to deliver his message in full, and paid his respects before departing for his encampment. Though typically more uncompromising, the Disfavored praised your innovative thinking. The Scarlet Chorus despised what they viewed as resources wasted only to release a known enemy back into the wild. Don't like the Scarlet Chorus at all. The fall of Apex. With the defeat of Apex and inevitability, the armies of Kyros met to discuss how to put an end to this stage of the conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer of parley. Along with their acceptance, the enemy requested that you appear at the meeting. Word of your fair dealings had apparently spread to their ranks. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? So apparently they surrendered because of what I chose. Negotiate surrender or challenge the queen. Wait, what? Through days of mediation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kyros' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. I like this. Taunting the Queen of Apex into striding you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex into a duel and slew her, frightening her vassals into submission. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go with that one. Your former enemies were loath to part with their lands, but they were even more reluctant to continue a war they were losing at every turn. The Tearsmen are a stubborn lot, and despite their grim situation, it still took days of discussion and diplomacy to show them the madness of tenacity. On the third day of mediation, the rulers of Apex finally submit to your terms of surrender, putting an end to the war in the valley and freeing up Kyros' forces to march deeper into the tiers. And now are we gonna go be able to go to the other area? Hopefully. Oh, we're not gonna be able to go to the other area. We could only choose one. That sucks. I wanted to go everywhere. Apex 429. The land of Apex finally rested in the hands of Kyros' forces. The Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in victory, while the Disfavored prepared for their next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kyros' armies radiated from the conquered citadel and worked their way across the tiers. The Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus aimed to dominate as much territory as possible in the coming year. Your distinguished reputation in Kyros' military left the choice of your next destination yours to make. Okay, so we can go to 3 locations now, which means we won't be able to go to 2 of the locations, which sucks. Okay, let's see. Azure. Kyros has dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. Kyros' conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. And Stalwart. With its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. I think I'm gonna go with the Vellum Citadel. I think these other 2 would have been fun to subjugate these guys or destroy the Citadel, but I want to go here because I'm a mage and it says knowledge and secrets, so Vellum Citadel it is. Year 3 of Kyros' Conquest. Is this the final one? I think this is the final one. The Vellum Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as the School of Ink and Quill, a circle of mages that, centuries ago, carved out their own mountainous refuge on lands unsettled by the other major realms. Legends said that the Citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord's spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. The time was ripe to send a detachment to the Grey Library Fortress and force the scholars to yield to Kyros. The Vellum Citadel was a library of fortress, the largest archive of the written word in the tiers. The School of Ink and Quill protected and maintained the archives of ancient lore for centuries, standing apart from the political upheavals of the younger realms as an enduring pillar of knowledge and culture. Yeah, I think I made the right choice because I'm a mage. A chain of command, the peaceful surrender turned bloody. And Siren's song ensnared some stealthy sages. Another Archon, Song of Ensnarement. Siren, Archon of Song, used her power to enthrall enemy mages who crept beyond the Citadel walls. After Kyros' forces rounded up the arcane practitioners, the Disfavored began executing the new captives before they could share dangerous knowledge, a crime under Kyros' law, with the Scarlet Chorus. And muzzle the mages or punish the Disfavored. Okay, so I don't get, why did the Disfavored kill the captives? Why the Disfavored? I actually kind of liked you. You calm the Disfavored with a compromise. The sages' mouths would be bound with iron bridles, preventing them from speaking their forbidden knowledge. You punish the Disfavored for executing mages bound to the Scarlet Chorus, ordering that several Disfavored soldiers be given to the Archon of Song as her personal bodyguards. And what about this one? Chain of Command. A detachment of Kyros' army march on the Vellum Citadel, expecting an orderly surrender. As they near the main gates, a blast of arcane energy struck the commanders dead. Suddenly, the highest ranking officer alive, Kyros' forces looked to you for the next steps. The call waited on your mind, as it had an immediate influence on soldier losses. You ordered the expendable Scarlet Chorus to attack, commanding the disorderly mob forward to give the elite Disfavored a chance to withdraw. Though a costly maneuver in terms of lives lost, this assured the survival of the most capable and effective soldiers. You ordered the Disfavored to advance their shield wall, knowing that a handful of Kyros' elite soldiers would hold off the attacks until the Scarlet Chorus retreated. You knew the Disfavored would despise you for any losses at the Scarlet Chorus' expense, but that was a small price to pay for saving lives. I don't like any of these choices. This game is hard. These choices are hard. I don't think I'm gonna go with the chain of command because the choices are just I don't know. And again, I have to choose between the Scarlet Chorus and the Disfavored. And I like the Disfavored more, but at the same time the Scarlet Chorus is made out of even people from the tiers who were enslaved. You know? Muzzle the mages or punish the Disfavored. I guess I'm gonna choose this. I don't really want to punish the Disfavored because they're gonna hate me. And as I said, I kind of like them. I don't know why they kill the mages. I'm just gonna muzzle the mages. If I chose the other one, I would have sacrificed the Disfavor. And I don't really want to do that. But just to save lives. As the Disfavored fitted the sages with their restraining masks, the Scarlet Chorus openly criticized the suppression of enemy intelligence. He gave the soldiers a stern lesson in Kyros' law and sensitive treatment of forbidden knowledge. But that didn't stop the whispering and rumors that the Conquest was being mismanaged. Okay, Right of Command. Sirin composed songs of strength and provoked bloody slaughter. The Spymaster's agents. A group of enemy mages surrendered to the Disfavored. Okay. Claiming to be spies loyal to the voices of Nerat. No one in the army could verify the claim. The Disfavored readied to interrogate the mages, but the Scarlet Chorus protested, demanding that the prisoners be given to their custody. They couldn't risk the voices of Nerat's secrets falling into the wrong hands. Though it meant angering the Scarlet Chorus, the mages were Disfavored property. They remained in custody while reviewing their claims. You ignored the Disfavored threats, sharply reminding them that they marched at Kyros' orders, and not their own whims. The mages were released into the custody of the Scarlet Chorus. Right of Command. The Archon of Song incited Scarlet Chorus' recruits to fight their leaders. Forces were killed and supplanted left and right. The Disfavored demanded an end to this practice for the good of the Conquest. You agreed with the Disfavored arguments. The right of command had its place, but not when Kyros' forces were outnumbered and reinforcements were weeks behind, if not longer. You ruled that each Archon had the right to govern their armies according to their nature. The right of command bred chaos, but it also ensured that the strongest rise to lead. I think we're just gonna stop the practice? Right into the contest? I don't know. This makes sense, and it makes sense for the Scarlet Chorus. They don't really value lives. They value strength. But I just want to stop this from happening, so I'm gonna go with this. I don't think this decision matters too much, because again, I'm just siding with the Disfavored or the Scarlet Chorus pretty much. Here I can actually change a practice. The Scarlet Chorus, even the gang bosses, argued in favor of their ritual contest killing. In the end, they agreed to suspend the practice for the remainder of the Vellum Citadel campaign. Lacking an outlet to settle scores or deal with pent-up hostility, tensions flared between commanders and recruits who were forced to act against their better nature and communicate. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just let them kill each other. The Edict of Fire. Crestfallen by the preferential treatment you showed the Disfavored, the Scarlet Chorus retreated deeper into the mountains, leaving your detachment with a skeleton crew. Tunon sent word that Kyros' patience had run thin. The Overlord would cast an Edict of Fire on the enemy. Kyros' most powerful magic is that of an edict, commandments cast upon whole regions that can control and destroy man and nature alike. So this guy is an actual god. Once cast, an edict can rain fire, wither crops, demoralize cities, usher in endless night, or do whatever it is that Kyros envisioned. Holy shit. Why are we even fighting a war? Why doesn't he just threaten them with an edict if they don't surrender? No known force, magical or mundane, can stop an edict, so each edict is often worded to include some condition or contingency that will see its end. Some edicts have been short-lived, delivering days of wanton catastrophe, just as many have lingered for centuries. Yep, this guy is God. Confirmed. The parchment arrived in a slender case of engraved iron. Written on it, the words of the spell powerful enough to destroy the Vellum Citadel. You had the choice of when to read the edict. Reading it at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You could also wait until sunset, giving them an ample time to flee or make amends. What? Opting to give the enemy no quarter, you proclaim the Edict of Fire at the first moment of dawn, granting the enemy no warning of the destruction to come. Though the Chorus insisted your actions doomed their spies, the Disfavored applauded your decision. Claiming they still had spies within the Citadel, the Scarlet Chorus urged you to warn the mages of the Overlord's edict. Granting their request, you met with the enemy under a blue flag of peace and warned them of their doom, giving the Chorus spies and the enemy a chance to run. I'm gonna go with this one for sure, because the enemy, I think, is gonna be my future ally, so we want to save them. And we also save the Scarlet Chorus as well. We save lives, pretty much. You confronted the mages with a warning and hoped the message was received. The hour before sunset, numerous figures were spotted fleeing the citadel. As the sun dipped under the horizon, you read the words of the edict. The earth shook, and red-orange light glowed in the fountains of the sprawling citadel. Bubbling up from under the library, a torrent of lava heaved with explosive force, gushing from windows and between loose bricks, melting windows, trenches, and in the surrounding land. Days later, the flames still rage on, the conflagration continually fed and renewed by the power of the edict. So I guess the Vellum Citadel is no more. The armies of Kyros left the devastation of the Vellum Citadel in silence. From that day forward, the Tears came to know the once noble citadel as the Burning Library. Oh my god, we lost all the knowledge, boys. This was an indisputable loss of resources, knowledge, culture and life. But a message had been sent. The Overlord will not tolerate defiance. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. You were one of the last to depart from the mountains. and as you journeyed off, you spotted a few campfires in the mountains. They were mere specks, dwarfed by the inferno, the last gasps of survivors, or perhaps looters from Kyros' armies bored and daring enough to peek through the ashes. And I guess that's the end of the Conquest. You have reached the end of Kyros' Conquest. Do you want to continue or erase your progress and start over? I think we made pretty good choices. I think we're gonna continue. This is going to be the end for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Ask me anything you want in the comments. I reply to every single comment. Or you can even recommend games you think I should try in the future. Subscribe and hit the bell for more Tyranny. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.